Hello everyone, my name is Russ. I am the founder of Capital Sales Monthly. And I just want to take a few minutes and talk with you about excuses. Excuses for not picking up the phone and making sales calls. Excuses for not prospecting. Excuses for not cold calling. Excuses for not getting out into the market and making face-to-face sales calls. The reason I want to talk to you about this is because I have done it. My entire career, I have found excuse after excuse after excuse. Sometimes, it's like you sit at your desk and you have to organize your stapler or get your phone just positioned and you have to get all of your documentation just so and everything squared away before you can pick the phone, and then you go to pick up the phone and you just stop along the way, right? If you're a salesperson, I'm sure you've experienced something to that, right? There's always a reason to go to the bathroom, to get a snack, to get something to drink. We find a myriad of excuses. So I just narrowed down the top 4 that came to mind with regards to my typical excuses. I want to talk to you a little bit about them today. My favorite, no leads. I don't have any opportunities. My marketing group has not sent in any leads, any new opportunities for me to go pursue. I was at a sales meeting, this was about 12 years ago, and there was a gentleman, I think he covered Mississippi, and in the meeting, he literally said, the reason that I haven't been successful in selling your products is because you haven't sent me any leads. I was dumbfounded. Nobody else said anything, but I was dumbfounded. Wait a second, isn't that our job? Our job is to go out, find opportunities, bring them in, and then see if they're a good fit or not. And then, of course, through the process, you learn whether they are or aren't a good fit. But ultimately, that's our role as salespeople, is we have to get into the market. We have to ask people, hey, do you need anything? Hey, do you need anything? Hey, do you know anybody that might need anything? Hey, okay, I'll stop calling you. That's all part of the process, right? And we're going to talk about the main reason for every single one of these excuses when it's all said and done. But that was a common one that I've heard out in the market. I don't have any leads. My company hasn't provided me with any leads. It's not your company's job. Your job is to go out, find opportunities, and bring them back to your company. It's called hunting. All right, number 2 excuse is... Got to come up with an easier process to get these off here. All right. You're not ready. Oh, I'm not ready. I don't technically understand the product enough. I'm not familiar enough with my territory at this point to make calls. I don't want to have the customer ask me a question that I don't have an answer for. We have all kinds of excuses for explaining why we are not ready to pick up the phone and make sales calls. The only way that you're ever going to be ready is that you start. You've got to start. Just like making these videos. I was a hot mess. Today, I had every excuse in the world not to take the time to make this. Have you seen my hair? Look at this hair. I haven't cut my hair in 2 months. I'm like, I can't make a video. I haven't even had a haircut in 2 months, for goodness sakes. What are people going to think? But the truth is that you aren't thinking about my hair at all until I mention it. The people don't care. People aren't thinking about what you think that they're thinking about. They aren't thinking about the stories that we make up in our head about the excuses that validate the excuses that we use to not pick up the phone and make sales calls, to not get out into the market and promote our products. Number 3, we have nothing new. My company hasn't introduced any new products for a while. I've got nothing new to take to the market. I've got nothing new to talk to my customers about. So, you have plenty of customers out there probably that haven't purchased the product that you have. Pick up the phone and make some sales calls. All right, number 4. Not the right time. It isn't the right time. It's early in the morning. It's 8. They just got in. I don't want to bother them. At this point, they just got in. It's 11. They're probably getting ready for lunch. And I got to give them some time, after lunch. So it's, 1:30. I can't make calls right now, and it's too close to the end of the day. So by the time the time is right, you have narrowed it down to about 9 to 11 or 2 to 4. Those are the optimum time to make sales calls. Well, actually, those are the optimum times to call people when they aren't at their desk because they're in meetings or they're somewhere else. The optimum time to reach out and connect with people is 7:30 in the morning because then they're probably at their desk. And the reason that you don't make sales calls often is because you do this. Hey, do you need anything? This is Russ with Capital Sales Monthly. I was just checking in to see if you needed anything. No, they're not going to need anything. If they'd have needed something, they'd have called you. You need to add some value. So you need to work through the process. What's the story that you're going to tell when you connect with a customer? Donald Miller has this great book. It is called Story Branding, and it is phenomenal at helping you identify a story that's going to work. And essentially, it's 3 questions that he outlines in a specific section of the book. And it is essentially the 3-sentence story. And you get it by answering these 3 questions. What is the customer's problem that you're trying to solve? What are they having to deal with? How does your company solve the problem? And then the third question is, what does the customer's situation look like after their problem is solved? We all learn by story. We love story. So tell your customer a story about how your product is going to help make their day better, how it's going to add value. Because ultimately, if your product doesn't add any value, if you aren't adding any value to your customer, then you might as well not pick up the phone and make any sales calls, because that's what your customer needs. They don't need some salesperson taking up their time. They need a salesperson to call and add value to them. Help make their day better. Even if it's by spreading a little joy, for goodness sakes. Call them up, tell them a joke, whatever. But make sure that you aren't calling them up and saying, hey, do you need anything? That is lame, and that is why people can't stand when salespeople call them, because they waste their time. All right, the number one reason that we have all of these excuses, do you know what it is? The number one reason we make all these excuses is the fear of rejection. We all fear rejection. It is natural. We are a communal people, and if we get rejected by the tribe, then we're going to starve to death. We're going to be left out in the middle of the desert to fend for ourselves and not be able to ultimately survive. So we have a built-in fear of rejection. But as a salesperson, I want you to turn that fear of rejection into a thirst, a hunger, a desire for the rejection, because that's the only way you're going to get over it. Is you're going to, yes, bring it on. Yeah, oh, they said no. Come on. Where's the next one? Where's the next one? Where's the next one? That is the only way to get over that fear of rejection, is to go. It's to get in the market. Is to make the calls. Is to get kicked in the teeth. That's part of the process. That's why you do this. That's why it's your job to go out and make sales calls, assuming that you are a salesperson. It's part of the process. So get over the fear of rejection. Embrace rejection, because there's probably a ratio. You just haven't figured it out yet. You make 10 calls, you get kicked in the teeth 9 times, but one time maybe somebody's going to buy. So okay, that means I got to make 100 calls, and then I'll get 10 opportunities, or I'll get 10 purchases. Well, that's 10%. That's amazing. That'd be an incredible closing rate, especially in the beginning. So these are the excuses that we commonly make. Don't make them. Don't allow these excuses to keep you from getting out into the market, because ultimately, as salespeople, our responsibility is to get into the market and to help promote and sell the products that our company produces. Because the people that work at the company that we work at, they're relying on us. They're relying on the revenue that we generate through sales to keep them going. If you're an engineer and you're watching this and you despise salespeople, I get it. We can be totally annoying. But ultimately, there's someone for your company out there making sales calls today, promoting your product, selling your product, so that ultimately you have a job in order to engineer. That's how the system works. That's just how the process works. Things don't sell themselves on their own as much as we would like for that to happen. All right. Again, Russ with Capital Sales Monthly. Let's stop making excuses and get into the market.